Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome to Cosmic Q&A with Divine Life Connections. New name, new identity. We're putting it out there in the world as the newness of the year 8, which is a uh, uh, all new creations year. Very excited to be entering into 2024 with all of you, and this is our first Cosmic Q&A, and I couldn't be more thrilled than to welcome and have everybody here. If you haven't met Daniel Zafer Joyce yet, he is my co-conspirator today.
Ah, so
Co-conspirator
conspirator.
with Spirit, with Divine, and
Soul conspirators.
soul conspirator. So tell us a little bit about what you're up to, Daniel, and what's going on in your life.
Oh, it has been, the energies have been turbulent, yeah? I'm looking forward to a little bit of a stretch to gather myself because it does feel, as we've entered this year, it feels that there's an opportunity, a doorway that is opened to manifest and to move forward in a way unhindered, as it has been in the past. The obstacles just have fallen away. It's an exciting time. So, uh,
Oh, he froze on me. He'll be back. And we live in such a non-tech area, right? Daniel lives down the street, so all right, he'll be back. All right.
How long will Mercury be in not in retrograde?
Well, there are no planets in retrograde until early April.
Okay.
And so this is a high period where accomplishment and getting things done and conspiring to support you is really a period of productivity. Here I am with all my alliterations today. It's a period of productivity. So take advantage of it. Yes, Rob.
Connie,
Uh-huh.
you mentioned prior to starting the recording you were both, however. Um, were you recently receiving messages from Toth, or is this a subject that you were going into? How did Toth come in? Toth would come into the
It came in
teaching for tonight.
through Christ Sophia, Divine Christ Sophia, and she brought the awareness to me that right now Mercury is influencing us heavily. It's one of the closest to our Earth. And with that, yeah, and welcome back, Daniel.
hi.
And we're not even in a retrograde. And then the second to that, she brought into my awareness that are you aware that the ancients, and particularly Egyptians, considered Mercury as part of nature. It was just an extension of nature, and they also identified it as the Thoth mind, the consciousness of Thoth, which
Thoth. It's
which
actually Thoth.
Thoth,
Thoth.
Thoth. Okay,
Thoth.
Toth.
Thoth. It's like, Seth and Thoth.
Thoth. Thank you. I've heard it pronounced differently, but thank you, Deborah, for that clarification. I really appreciate it. No, I appreciate it because Thoth makes sense. It actually would be more
Thought, right?
thought being thought. So beautiful, beautiful. All right, you were saying.
One quick thing.
Okay.
Remember, it doesn't matter how we enunciate the name of any of these spirit guides. It's the energy that is what we're connecting with. There's so many times where I can misspell the messages of the people I'm channeling. And it doesn't matter how my name is spelled or pronounced. It's the energy. So we don't have to get hung up on it.
Absolutely.
There's a respect. There's a respect.
There.
There is. And, I know for me, I work heavily and I'm aligned with the Christ consciousness, the Christ family lineages, and all of the members of that. And, Jesus, who he's known as more worldly and globally, had said to me specifically, my name is Yeshua. Yeshua. He asked me, and that's a personal request to me, to call him Yeshua as opposed to, the more English and Anglican name, Jesus. Yes,
How,
Deborah.
how would you spell that?
Well, my understanding, there's a few ways. It would be Hebrew, in Hebrew, and then Aramaic. So in Hebrew, it's Yeshua, and in Aramaic, it's Ye with an apostrophe. Ye, Yeshua,
Yeah.
S-H-U-A, right? It has the, what do you call that?
S apostrophe?
Right, it's like but it's an accent more than an apostrophe. Yeah. It breaks the word and that's their tradition of their language. So he spoke in Aramaic, but also understood, the Hebrew texts and languages and read those and studied them as well. We're all
Thank
such scholars here. I love it. I love the scholarly divine wisdom that's coming through. All right, Daniel. So tell us about your business and soul, universe, soul, and just a little bit that, and then we'll get started with our channeling.
I was just delighted. I was cleaning through some files before we started, and I found a screenshot of the certification class when I was in class with a few familiar faces who are in this group tonight from 2 years ago, and it really took me back. And was thinking about what a journey it's been for the last couple of years. What a roller coaster ride in the best way. But yes, I release weekly or bi-weekly. Every 2 weeks, I release a recorded channeled message. But it's from a variety of guidance. When I started my channeling journey, I was working with an ascended master named Hilarion. And then one night during my initial practice in that level 1 course, I invoked Hilarion and a different energy showed up. And I asked who it was, and I got the name Seth. And I had never heard of Seth. And I said, Seth, that's your name? Not respectfully. I was because I didn't expect this energy to come in. I didn't know who it was, and I was a little off put that I had invoked my guide and some other being had showed up. So I asked Hilarion, I said, what was that about? Why did you introduce Seth to me tonight? And he said, you and Seth are going to do a lot of work together in the future. And boy, have we ever. Seth is my go-to guy. But and now I'm familiar with who he was. But I get challenged all the time from people who say, you can't be channeling Seth because Jane Roberts wrote that Seth would never be channeled again. And
Right.
so that's always an obstacle for some people. But all I can tell you is it's definitely him. And he is quite a personality and quite authoritative. And I've learned to trust his word and his leadership wherever he's guided me. It's always been fruitful. It's always been an adventure. It's always stretched me, and I've enjoyed that. So Seth is who I'm bringing in tonight. But on my YouTube channel, where I release my messages, I have a whole host of different guides who take turns coming in to deliver messages, including Yeshua, a couple of archangels, and others. So if you want to check out my channel, I'll put the link in the chat for everyone to reference. But I'm excited to be bringing Seth in tonight to share his messages with you and to answer your questions.
And I am always thrilled to share space and environment in these circles with Seth. It's so potent and powerful. And I think what any of you here that aren't on the channeling path and haven't studied, most of you here have, that is what's at stake for you, is aligning with your soul guidance and really understanding the expansion of your own soul's journey. We are able to do that when we work with these beloveds from the non-physical realm. It's not like they're out there or they're different. They're right here. They're right here energetically with us, supporting us, loving us, and we're all aligned differently. When you find your counsel or those that you're going to be aligned with and working with specific to you, you'll find some wonderful synchronicities about some of the reasons why and who you are at the deepest level of your truth. So that's been my surprise is, wow, it's like a lotus flower that continue, 1,000-petal lotus flower that just continues to blossom over and over again. So blessed be. We'll go ahead and we'll get channeling. I hope you have your questions ready for us. There are more people that have signed up to come. Hazel, can I make you a co-host and just let people in if they come? Okay, I'm just going to make you a co-host. If you see somebody in the if you see
Okay.
somebody in the room, you just let them in. That's it. Just say
Alrighty.
you'll see a little blue button that says admit. You don't see it now, but just admit them. If not,
Okay.
try to
I'll
turn.
do it.
Thank you.
I can do this.
I know
Okay.
you can. All right, everybody. So just give us a moment while we bring in guidance, and then away we go to be in service to you and all of your questions. If you'll notice, the energies, divine energies, are already present. They're already here. Just feel what happens in your space as we bring them in more fully. Greetings and blessings. Namaste. What an honor. Beautiful souls. Beautiful souls. Hello. Hello. I recognize so many of you here in this space. A lovely gathering. All in common unity, yes? Hello. All right. Hello, beloved. Nice to see you. Yes, we are gathered again to do our soul work, yes? It's all about the soul's journey. Soul's journey is the most incredible aspect of you being alive right now. So many identify with the smallness of the I, the ego, the unit, the body that you're in right now. But in truth, it is really about the soul and the incarnation and the multiplicity of the incarnation that you have. Many of you have been around for eons, decades, since time began. Those of you that know this well. Welcome, and open your mind and heart and your ideas to the understanding that possibly you have so much more here to contribute and give to your humanity, for you are on a great precipice of some great change that is about to occur. Do not be afraid. Just be open and willing, and you will know when your part shows up. You will know when it is yours to do. All right. Welcome, beloved brother Seth. So happy to have you here with us. We would like to entertain the first question. So because it's a small group, you can just raise your hand this way. We will see you, or to put your little yellow hand up, and then we'll put you in a queue. If you have a question or concern of any kind, we are here to support, nurture, and assist you. So away we go, yes? Oh, goodness, it's going to be a very quiet night if there's no questions. Deborah, yes. Hello, beloved. Nice to see you.
Hi there.
Hi there.
So why do we still have the dis-ease cancer when we human beings, so to speak, have spent so much time, energy, and money trying to get rid of this or figure a cure? Why do we still have it? Will there ever be a cure? And are there existing remedies that exist, but we, the people, don't know about them yet?
Thank you for the question.
It is a complicated question, and it is, we are regret to say, a complicated answer. But the energy that you identify as cancer is a role that is being played in the simulation of your universe. The incarnate experience will always be coupled with these viruses, disease, illness, injury. To ask why it has not been resolved is a complicated question, even in that simple question, you might as well ask, why do people crash their cars? It is very dependent on the circumstance. It is dependent on the individual. There is an entire uh, drama playing out for each of you, a role that you have chosen to embody, the lessons that you are here to learn. And it is not always going to be easy. There are going to be challenges and obstacles to overcome. There's going to be hardship, but it is those obstacles, challenges, and hardships that come to you as teachers, which, when embraced and when seen for their higher nature, serve as opportunities for you to grow and evolve, for you to reach out and connect. If it were not for these setbacks and for these moments of suffering, you would not be motivated. You sometimes need to be goaded forward in your growth and development. If you are too comfortable, you stagnate. And that is the true death. To not be moving forward is the only true death. You are always moving forward as linear beings, but in these trials and obstacles that come to you in the form of illness, cancer, and others, you have opportunities to increase your capacity, your resiliency, to build community, to support one another, to support those who suffer from disease, to alleviate disease is, of course, possible. To cure certain kinds of cancer is going to happen. But the problem that cancer plays as a role, as an antagonist in the drama, that antagonist is secretly, if you look beneath the script, if you look behind the curtain, that antagonist has a friendly role to play in pushing you forward. So even if you were to cure all cancer tomorrow as the human species, the antagonist role would still exist. It would simply take a different form.
Beautifully said. Thank you. And yes, cancer per se is not the issue. It is not the problem. It is really the path and the chosen selection of an individual to carry forth their soul's journey. And it has been around since, everything has been around, disease and illness. It occurs in all species, not just the human form, but it is in the plant kingdom and the animal kingdom as well. And it is a journey, beloved, of understanding the deeper path of the power of which each of you possess. You each possess the power to heal. And part of this journey to create dis-ease within yourself is to know yourself as the powerful being and creator, light being that you are, so that you can remove any obstacles to return thyself to your purest form. And so cancer is a lesson, it is a learning, it is a journey for those upon it to work with it as opposed to fight it. The issues right now in the world of humanity is there is a big battle saying this is bad and this is good, for it just is. And when we resolve the understanding that it is something for us to work upon together, to love, in essence, to love that which is a disease. That is probably one of the most difficult human journeys of your existence. And then regarding your question or your concern, are there medicines? Is there an ample solution or a great eradicator of this disease? Absolutely there is. And there are legions of people, thousands, working upon these homeopathic, naturopathic methods to alleviate the symptoms, if not the disease entirely. But you also must understand a dynamic that is at play within your humanity, and that is of your industry, your corporate pharmaceuticals. It is a bit of a manipulation, and so it is in the highest pedigree of their um, existence to keep cancer in place, to keep the fear in place. And instead of you understanding the power of your own co-creative possibilities and purpose, you can become the healer and the solver of cancer if you knew yourself to be that powerful. There are many people in the Andes and in some indigenous cultures who already have the solution that you seek. They are already eradicating, removing, and they are cancer-free, if this is a term that is understood at your level of consciousness. Now, they have other issues that they combat on a daily basis, but this is the purposeful good of the system with which each of you lives within at the current time. I hope this answers your question. It is not an absolute, complete, clear path of understanding, but and I hope it is not upsetting that you are at the receiving end of this manipulation. But you are, and you each here can open not only your eyes, but your mind's eye, and particularly your heart's eye, to begin to see through the facade, the illusion, as Seth is saying, the illusion of what is really happening here. You each within yourself are powerful co-creators, powerful creators. Powerful creators beyond your wildest imaginings. And this is the returning, this is the path that you are each returning to within yourself upon your soul's journey. Get right with your soul, begin to understand the power that innately lives within you and around you and above you and below you, beneath you, in all aspects of dimension, and you will become the greatest you could imagine. How do you think Yeshua, Mary, the Marys, they all were healers because they knew this ability. I hope this answers your question satisfactorily, yes?
It helps a lot.
It helps a lot. Indeed. Good. Thank you for being here and participating.
We did see that there was a follow-up question in the chat along this topic from Brother Robert, and was whether this disease and cancer is a earthly condition or if it is galactic. As our beloved sister has pointed out, there are segments of the human population where cancer is not one of the issues that they wrestle with. And this is a microcosm of the cosmos. The obstacle and the lessons that the obstacle presents to be integrated is present because you have that opportunity to integrate those lessons that obstacle in its unique energy and frequency brings into your circumstance. If you do not need to address those lessons, that particular obstacle would not present itself. So these human populations that do not wrestle with the problem of cancer do not need the lessons that problem teaches. It is a similar state across the cosmos. There are planets and cultures who do not need the lessons that a disease or a cancer teaches because they have already integrated those lessons. So what can you learn from this? It means that the lessons, as you evolve, as you develop, the lessons will continue to flow in, and the bearers of those lessons, the teachers, will present themselves in many forms, some as compassionate guides, some as antagonists who you must wrestle with, who push you in directions that sometimes make you uncomfortable or even cause pain. But it is that pressure and that antagonism that trims and prunes you to grow in the direction that will lead you higher, that leads you to the next step. So every obstacle that you face, if we take and extrapolate this truth into a personal experience, when you are facing an obstacle, you can see that it is truly a friend in disguise, even when it seems to be an enemy. This is true of people as well, but we will speak of the disease. So if you see past that surface, the role that it is playing of the antagonist of the disease, and see that at its core, it is actually a guide that has been sent to you, a teacher, you can begin to ask yourself, or even ask the cancer, ask the problem, ask your enemy, what is it that you are here to teach me? And if you have a listening heart, those answers will come surprisingly quickly, because the goal is for you to learn. The goal is to be taught. If you are open to that teaching, you will begin to perceive on that level. You will begin to see those solutions. And once lessons have been integrated, those obstacles can resolve. So if you are seeking to move past a recurring issue, a chronic illness, that is a lifelong companion who is here to teach you lesson after lesson, layer after layer. That is an ugly gift, it has been called. That is a gift in ugly wrapping paper, but it is a gift that continues to give, where you continue to grow. If you embrace that teacher, you continually learn deeper and deeper lessons, finding deeper and deeper truth, deeper and deeper peace. And when you have learned all that you can, that issue resolves naturally, because it is no longer needed to teach you what you need to know.
Can that issue be even death? That your next step is death and moving on from this earth plane?
Absolutely.
Primarily, we think of death as a completion of the work that you came to accomplish. But yes, in some circumstances, that can be the next step. For us, from this side of the veil, death is a celebration. It's like completing a chapter, completing a level of your development, leading you to the next, which is such an exciting time. And we get to welcome you back to this side of the veil, embracing you and celebrating all that you accomplished, all that you learned, all of the lives that you touched.
There is a challenge, however, for in the path and journey of death, as that learned piece of your soul path, is the people left behind in the wake of that existence or that life. There is sadness and tremendous grief and anger and frustration, and sometimes circumstances beyond the capability for the person to understand the beneficial good of it. And so those beings that transit, cross the veil, and return themselves to the light, they are still available. This is the misnomer. This is the lack of understanding from the human aspect, that you actually have them closer to you in assistance and aid and support. But that is not the human dynamic and the human time frame. We see them as their physical being is left, and therefore they are absent.
Indeed, there are those who have done all they can for those they love the most in their physical form, and they make that transition so that they can be a greater help, so that they can be more effective as assistance and guidance, and in closeness and proximity spiritually from the other side. They are not hindered by physical limitation, so they can be an even greater force in your life. It is a loving act for those that cross over for this reason.
This is a common occurrence with teachers. You'll find your teachers often make their transition in order to propel, or they leave your life in some way, or they exit. This is true about any relationship. It is really more of an effort to force you, propel those that need to move to their next echelon, their next effort, their next level of learning and consciousness, to be brave, to not lack fear, to begin to create for themselves that which they did believe was not possible. So whenever you can find the threshold or the environment where something that you perceived as bad or happening to you that caused you great pain, sorrow, and grief, and you begin to understand it as happy that it happened to you, the gladness that it brought forth in your life, when you begin to resolve it inside of yourself in this way, it will change the entire dynamic of that circumstance returning for you to learn.
Mm-hmm.
When you can begin to understand the opportunity of your pain and your sorrow. Sometimes it is to understand your depth and the depth and the emotional field of that which you can navigate. For those of you here, all helpers and healers. And it is far cry from your reality for you to hold someone in death, in the transition of death, if you have not experienced it yourself. It becomes a great challenge to hold someone in illness. That experience then gives you opportunities and gifts for you to continue your path here, incarnate, to help humanity. There are grave sorrows in your environment, in your world right now, each needing your attention. How can your little brain, how can your little mind sitting in this body begin to change the trajectory of how people feel, think, and know and understand illness and disease, war, famine, all the issues that you're plagued with? These are like the plague. The plague is not new. Suffering is not new. It is just in a new package, for we have not learned the lessons of what they bring forth for us. They open our hearts. They create compassion. They create environments of great humanity, movements coming together, working together for a greater good, to change something within your societies or your world that seemed impossible to change before, typically come from great tragedy and sorrow, yes? Perceived tragedy and sorrow. So do not look upon it with your level of consciousness and say, oh, that is so awful that is happening. How can I help? How may I help? How may I serve? And sometimes just creating the alchemy, bringing the images into you and transmuting them through the alchemical ability within yourself is enough to sit in peace and to emanate that peace and to be the vehicle for transformation, for transmogrification, for transmutation of all that is perceived in you. There's a tendency to become very hooked into the sorrow. And then that becomes the reality by which you approach it. So we know we are turning everyone on a dime here. We are turning everyone's heads a bit lopsided. And how can I see sorrow as goodness? How can I see tragedy as beneficial? But we assure you, practice and play with it. Allow yourself the opportunity to find the good in sorrow, the good, the gold, the gifts in grief, to Seth's point, the gifts. They become wrapped in this ugly wrapping paper and no one wants to touch it. But when you unfold it, sometimes there becomes the bounty and the beauty of what the gift is for you. Does this assist you? Beautiful. All right, we're going to change and ask someone else for a question. Do we have any other questions that someone would like to ask? Cheryl is asking one in the chat. Hang on. If a culture or society has no knowledge of cancer, are they susceptible to the disease? Oh, that is Rob, yes? she journaled, the game of forgetting is coming to an end. Does this mean anything to either of you? The game of forgetting is coming to an end. Yes? I don't know if that is a question as much as it is a statement, but yes, it ends at the time at which you choose it to end. The forgetfulness. And everyone here is diligently upon the path to remember the truth. And each and every one of you sits here today, you have a concept of what the truth is for you. You know when you are upon truth. You know when you are intuiting or you are receiving information that feels real and honest and true for you. And we urge you to continue to pursue that. Do not look so much to the experts and those that you go to for your spiritual answers, but begin to become self-nurturing, self-discerning, self-referral. Begin to refer to your own understanding of truth, and you will be guided in that way so that the forgetfulness for you will come in a form where you will receive your own divine information, your own divine messages and the aspects of you that you are here to impart. You are here to bring into remembrance and lack of forgetfulness. For each one of you has a lineage that you are here to bring forth a truth, a soul truth. Not everybody is bringing forth the same truth other than love, but once you align with that, you will begin to understand your ministry, what it is for you to impart to the world. And you will be given the tools and the opportunities and the necessities for you to deliver that. That you don't have to have a handle on the how. Yes, we all have heard that. Everybody wants to know, how will this happen? How will I do this? How will this come about? And you have to invest less in understanding how than just the what. Who is it you're aligned to? What is it that your soul is here to do? And just lean into that. Lean into that. Take steps into that. Work with that guidance. Sit with that guidance. Use your journaling. Bring your messages forth. And very miraculously, you will be led. It is like threads of gold weaving itself through your life. Yes? It is like the yellow brick road is a metaphor for you, beloveds. It is a metaphor. Follow the threads of gold. This is what Dorothy did in her to discover the truth. When she was met with illusion after illusion, you know your fairy tales are indeed metaphors for your soul's journey. Pay attention to what calls your attention. All right.
We would like to add another word to this bit of wisdom from our dear sister. The veil of forgetting. Yes, it is being lifted. It is being lifted not all at once and not for everyone. Many maybe even have had the veil lifted but have kept their eyes closed. For it is an individual response to what is happening, to the shift that is taking place within your world. Many of you have begun to recall things that are not part of this lifetime, things that are not part of this world. Many of you have tapped into that accumulated knowledge and the remembrance of your power and authority. And this is a time we encourage you to step into your authority. Ideally, you would see that we are all truly equals. We are not, as guides, we are not higher than, we are not more than you. We are equals. We are all source in different forms. So this is a time, beloveds, to step into your power, to step into your heritage, the legacy that you represent, this embodiment that sits here in front of these computers, sharing this cyber space that we share together in this format, each of you transcends this moment, transcends these physical bodies. You are so much more infinite and interconnected than the physical world would seem to have you believe. So lifting that veil is your choice. It is your prerogative to lift it or to keep it in place, depending on what serves your needs. Each of you as individuals will peer through that veil, either in part or in whole, depending on what you need in the moment that you need it. But there is some remaining value. The reason the veil has not been completely ripped away is just as when you go to see a bit of theater, you know that those are actors on a stage. You know that that is not real buildings they are standing in. It is a set. But the story is so compelling. The story is so enriching for you and cathartic. The emotions the actors bring to that story is beyond entertainment. It helps you explore yourselves. So you choose to forget. You choose not to see the actors. You choose to see the characters. You understand that it is all pretend, but you choose to buy in and invest in the narrative because of the rewards and the benefits that come from buying into that narrative. You are still embodied beings in a grand narrative, which you can either say, well, it's all pretend, it's all made up. We are galactic, ethereal, infinite beings, and you are. But there is also value in this narrative that you have chosen for yourself, in the exploration of that narrative, in the relationships that you have the opportunity to build. And the veil of forgetting is like the suspension of disbelief when you watch a movie or a play. It is helpful so that you can invest in the moment. You may understand that when a being dies, it is only the physical body that is left behind. They transcend and are eternal, even closer, as we have said. But it would be insensitive. It would be against the narrative for some people if you were to disregard the impact of that loss, the impact of the loss of the physical presence. Yes, that is compelling. It is gut wrenching. It can change someone's entire world. The pain of that loss can transform everything that they know. And in pain and crisis, there is opportunity for growth. There is opportunity for transformation. So being sensitive requires living within that veil of forgetting, buying into the narrative and allowing each other the space to live in the physical reality that you have been born into, that you have chosen to participate in. So the veil will always be with you, but you can choose, you have the authority when you would like to lift it or keep it in place if it seems appropriate.
Indeed. And many of you, that veil is lifted, and you have encountered, bumped into circumstances and relations where it will change things in your life. It will move you in new directions in your life, because it is difficult to tolerate. It's difficult to tolerate the status quo when you have lifted that veil within yourself. So be mindful, conscientious, and to be compassionate with others. If you are in a place of deeper, greater, bigger, broader understanding of the self, and particularly the soul self, you do not want to appear hubris in front of your companions who may not be may not be accelerated the way you have, or they have not done the learning you have done. So this is just a precautionary note that when you begin to lift this veil and the forgetfulness, and this dynamic is like happening right now, right in front of your very eyes. You know, groups of societies, groups of your society want to move and create new realities. And if this is something you choose to do, be mindful that it might create causation in your own life for you to make some significant changes. For to live the truth, to live within the veil of not forgetfulness or the unforgetfulness, you must live your truth, your integrity. You must live within the aspect of what's integral within your understanding of that. And that creates great ripples, and not injustice, but will create great resistance sometimes in your existing affairs. So just be aware of that. So many people and women that I work with in particular who say, oh, I am on the path and my husband is not. You know, we are not getting along right now. Well, it is incumbent upon you as the one on the path to tolerate that one that is not. Help them. Be the lighthouse. That is what the teachings of Christ really is to be the lighthouse. We are in a study group right now with the Marys, learning that we are the watchtowers, we are the lighthouses, helping people to navigate and find their way in the darkness. It is not for you to turn your back upon those that are not awakened or enlightened. It's to bring forth your teachings, bring forth your soul gifts, bring forth that which you do know, even as small or as grand as it may appear to you. Write your book, write your blog, do your podcast, write your email, write whatever it is. Get out and begin to speak. Yeshua and Mary's, and they would stand on rocks in the desert and preach their ministry. There are many willing and open, ready to hear your message. All right, we have another question. Jeannie, I see your hand is up. Welcome, beloved sister. And you know this more than anyone here, yes?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I do want to say just one thing we talked about earlier was that my husband passed 6.5, I'm in the 7th year, and I do now see the gifts of that loss and the gifts of the grief that I went through. And even though I knew there was no death, I still then would fall back into the wailing and the programming about grief and what I thought it should look like. And it only made me miserable. I felt much better when I could celebrate that he was where he needed to be. And so I just wanted to share that. I did have a question about
That's beautiful, Jeannie. Thank you for recognizing and offering that to us today. Thank you.
and I wanted to talk about other planets. I've heard people talk about how they were shown that they belonged to a certain galactic planet or whatever. And though I don't understand how that works when there are alternate lives and we must have lived many times on different places other than Earth. So do we all have a native planet that we belong to? Or how does that work?
Well, it does not work in the traditional means by using it work from the logical mind. You're trying to analyze it from the level of a mind of trying to have it make sense to you in the plane of thought that is very 3 and 4 dimensional, right? So if you imagine, beloved, that there is a field of multidimensionality that is beyond anyone sitting here's comprehension, beyond our capability to really understand how a soul can be fragmented and live 2 parallel lives. For this is the construct that you are speaking to. to say that each of us is from a planet or some, galactic entity or civilization or society is also a bit vague. For you can be in more than one soul monad, soul family at a time. And you have traveled as you have as a human incarnate here, many lives. You've been a man, you've been a priest, you've been a warrioress, you've been a child, you've been a mother, you've been a son. All these things have been incarnate. The same is true in the multidimensional field. So you have been all of these different incarnations, and it is impossible to sit here now and to say to each one of you, how many have I been, or which one am I most aligned with, which is my home planet. If you feel at home, you feel at home here, yes? So you are an earthling right now. This is your home. You are a cosmic earthling being. Earth is a planet in the cosmos, in your solar system, as is Lemurian or the Pleiades or Lyrion or the Arcturians. They too have, when you are there, you feel home. So that is part of your home consciousness.
So I don't have to worry about trying to figure that out.
Not unless you wish to align with that as your guidance and receive some pertinent information that can assist you in your work here as an earthling.
I don't need that. I have my own guidance. I guess I was just thinking I must be missing something, or I'm not getting something I'm supposed to know.
Yeah, you are not missing anything. We are never missing anything. That is always, if the soul is intending it to be, it therefore shall show up in your life. But it does not mean necessarily that we cannot align with and receive healing technologies, advanced technologies from some of these beings when we align with them. Remember the exercise we did so long ago where we had your channel channeling you on the other side of the cosmos? Right.
Yes.
Imagine other beings out there, if that is the perception you hold, out there channeling you for your intelligence, for your compassion, for your musical abilities. So in that sense, it is that just in reverse for you. You are able to channel and bring in any consciousness that so is fitting for you to learn from, and it's always available to
Yeah.
We would add that another aspect that you must consider subtracting from this conception of the universe is the aspect of time. For even in your current understanding of the universe, time is relative. So the time as it's passing within the gravitational field of the Earth is not passing at the same rate in other parts of even your own solar system, where the gravity is of a different nature because of the body on which those planets, the gravitational field they generate. Also, with the addition of speed, it distorts time even further. Where we exist, there is no time. All of this is happening at once, and we are connected into this moment with you in this moment of your journey. But you are also, even though you are currently embodied as a linear being, you are in nature a timeless essence. It boggles the mind. But many of you, yes, many of you have parallel. We would use the word parallel because it helps in subtracting this idea of time. Reincarnations are not necessarily a linear progress. Life and death, and then reincarnating, life and death, and reincarnating in a sequence. Rather, all points of your existence, all reincarnations happen simultaneously from our perspective. This is why you might encounter the same lessons when you hit the same age as in another life, you may bump up against some of those same obstacles, or when in another lifetime you suffered a trauma, when you reach that same age in this lifetime, suddenly you are feeling the effect of the trauma from that other life, because those lives are actually happening. It may be perceived as happening in parallel, even though they may be one in the 17th century, one in the 21st. We would have you picture, rather than a linear timeline, we would picture a crystalline grid. In a crystalline structure, all points are connected to all the other points in that structure. Your reincarnation cycle is, we use the term because you are linear beings, a cycle, and you understand cycles of growth and cycles of time. But truly, you transcend the limitations of time. Some of you in your development have spent time on other celestial bodies similar to Earth, in corporeal bodies similar to your human bodies. And we would counsel that sometimes it is possible for some of you to become so obsessed with remembering that exotic life that you forget that you chose this planet for this life. You chose this body for this life because there were lessons that you came here to learn. There were lives you came here to touch. So whether you once lived on another celestial planet or one day will live on another celestial planet, the moment you're in now is what we would counsel you to give your heart, your full focus. For these are the opportunities before you now that some are missing in the search for what once was for them. Do not become sidetracked, and do not feel that you are missing anything, because you are here now, and this is what matters for you in this moment.
Thank you.
And we will just piggyback a little bit, a notation, like a notation upon that is, you, all of you here, are the most evolved in this consciousness at this time than you have ever been in any other existence. This is yours to follow. This is yours to grow from. You are like babies still in terms of the understanding of the consciousness by which you can manifest or create from. You have barely seen the tip of the iceberg in what is possible for you as a consciousness to be able to understand about your soul. Your soul's experience is so vast that it is beyond the logical thinking mind. Your logical thinking mind should not even enter into the equation. For you are capable of all healing, of all manifestation, in all time, across all timelines. And that remembering that begins to come into play is simply your soul retrieving that information for you to use in the now, in the moment which exists in the now. A smell, or something you see, or an experience you have, or an outburst of anger can trigger a trauma from these timelines. If you want to research and investigate what that was specifically so that you can unravel and begin to understand it, so be it. Or does it serve you to just heal what is in the present awareness and the moment now for you to heal? I feel sadness. One of the aspects of your humanity that is greatly, greatly overlooked is your feeling environment, your emotional energy bodies. That is really the indicator of how you're doing in your life. Your emotions, your emotional field will guide you and be the indicator that is required for you to do your healing work. All right. We have another question. A hand is up. Laura Joy. Yes, we see you. Welcome back. It's good to see you again. It's been a while.
Oh, thank you. Yes, it is very wonderful to come back here. My question's a little bit different, and not an overwhelming global kind of question. Initially, when I was doing channeling or giving messages and type of thing, I would tap into, or I would get messages from what I call my inner child. Not the happiest of childhood, but that's okay. But this inner child seems to have taken on more of a role of a channeler, channeling. I'm not sure what the phrase would be, but that particular inner child, I seem to tap into other people as doing messages or something, that type of thing. I just was curious if anybody else had noticed that, or have had children or that younger ages to be message bearers. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Well, first of all, we appreciate the question very much. I was seeing that Seth is formulating there, and at the same time, we definitely, beloved, see your inner child as a spirit being. She is magical, she is wonderful, she is angelic. And she has the ability, beloved, to transcend everything we've been talking about here. She has the ability to seep in and sneak in and to see things of where there is need for compassion and deeper love and understanding. So she is one of your spirit guides.
Okay.
She is of the angelic realm. She has a great service, which she is putting forth here in the world right now. She is a great comforter.
Mm-hmm.
If you think of all the qualities right now that you possess in your human form, just imagine her in the spiritual world being that as well.
Interesting, yes.
And so the feelings that you have, I encourage you. In fact, I almost want to put a little bit of a seed, and plant a seed in you to even pursue it to greater levels in detail for you, so that you can become a conduit for children, the indigos, the star children, the beings that are entering our planet right now that feel largely misunderstood. And particularly, there is a thread and a lineage of children that are taken ill with diseases such as autism and attention deficit disorders. There is a need for them to be heard and seen, and your ability, your psychic abilities, beloved, will, in a way, be able to go in and extract that from them. Does this
Sounds
resonate?
very truthful, very close. Thank you.
Ah, very close. Yes. Well,
Yes.
she is working her magic within you, whether you choose to acknowledge it or not. You can join forces with this inner child, angelic being, and really strengthen the resolve within the to become a co-creator with her.
We do a lot of work together already, but yeah, I agree.
And there's just more that she is beckoning and coaxing from your reality right now. It is beautiful, so needed in our world, where there are many, many children who are existing in states of deep trauma.
There is a beautiful overlap between this question and the last question for the ways in which your consciousness, your higher consciousness, that makes up the person who sits in this chair, that you embody and reintegrate and reinvent in the reincarnation cycle is not limited to the birth and death cycle. You are, as you've realized, you are a different person as an adult than you were as a child. And developmentally speaking, there are many reasons for this, but you see your existence in this world as a continual, unbroken, linear existence. But you are constantly in a state of transformation and reinvention and evolution. And your inner child is such a elemental being, such an essence of universal innocence and childhood that you connected into this much broader essence, this guide who is so much more of a celestial than the literal embodiment of you as of this person who sits in this chair as a young person, a young embodied incarnate being. The overlap that we are speaking of with the last question is that some of you are seeking to find your extraterrestrial lineage in an effort to better understand why you came to this planet, what your purpose is, what your legacy is, what your power and nature truly is. So by connecting into these other lives that are extraterrestrial, you are aligning yourselves with an energy that is a part of who you are, a part that until this discovery was done was dormant in this lifetime. So you are tapping in to that essence from another world, that part of your nature and experience and power that you would like to bring into this lifetime, into this moment. And what we think is far more interesting than life on other planets is that some of you have spent time embodied or incarnated as non-incarnate beings. Some of you have spent time as music. Some of you have spent time as sentient conscious beings who exist as pure emotion, not embodied on a celestial planet, not with flesh and blood. But you have so aligned yourself with the energy of joy, or so aligned yourself with the energy of loss, that it has become part of your physical, your energetic nature, something that you carry within you because it is part of your power to wield that energy, that experience within all of the lifetimes, embodied or otherwise. And you, beloved, have tapped into this universal child. This is coming forward now. This essence of who you are, this inner being, this inner knowing of yourself is coming to the forefront so that you can wield that experience to its highest good, to its maximum capability. And all of you in this session tonight have the ability to tap into your past experiences because they are not past, they are current. You are just tapping into other aspects of your consciousness and who you are, your legacy, your lineage. The only thing holding you back is doubt or fear.
Mm.
And these are very weak obstacles when you test their strength. They can be broken with just a little bit of faith.
They are indeed flimsy when on the plane with which you would be dealing with them. Thank you, beloved. That was beautiful. To bring that awareness forward is significant. For all of you here are empath sentient beings that feel things more deeply, but you get caught up in processing it through this need to have it through the analytical mind. When really, what if you just allowed the feeling to exist and you lived the feeling, you expressed as the feeling. You brought expression to sadness. You brought expression to grief. You brought expression to joy. What would that look like? How would you then live your lives? Thank you, beloved. That was Exquisite.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. And keep coming back and to pursue that inner child relation. She's
Mhm.
magical.
It almost seems like it's the most pure aspect or the most pure essence of me that's beyond me, which is what Daniel was explaining. And I thought you both did very, very well. And guess what I did before I was before I retired? Children's librarian.
So you were the one doling out the fairy tales, yes?
Yes, that's for sure. Sure. Thank you.
What an appropriate endeavor for you to bring forth in this world. Thank you.
It only took me about 50 years, but that's okay. What's time, you know?
There is no such thing
Right.
in our landscape. Hmm?
Mm,
All right,
yes.
Judy, we see your hand is up. Welcome, beloved one. I see your emotional field just expanding and twirling and singing and dancing with.
Yeah, the last, I'd say 3 or 4 weeks, the energy has been so extraordinary that I have discovered that I was allowing myself to go out of my body, and then I realized that I had a tether. And then at that time, it was like, why do I have this tether? And it's like all of a sudden I realized that was my soul. That was my soul keeping me tethered into my body.
Mhm.
And I just wanted to verify the fact I'd been practicing staying more in my body, more embodied, grounded more into earth, allowing myself at the same time to be connected to divine source. But then I've been exploring this thought that came to me in regard to the embodiment of my soul and the fact that I'm just a personality, that I'm actually the soul that has the body having the human experience. And it caused me a little conflict at first because of, the ego mind wanting to get involved in all that.
Mhm.
But I've been able to sit with my soul more, and I've been able to just feel that part of my soul that makes me feel safe and secure. And I'm discovering that through that connection that I'm creating, that relationship that I'm creating more with my soul, that I have this desire that I don't quite know what to do with, a desire to express that to other people, to help them find ways to come into themselves and learn to have that relationship with their soul. I'm finding that my whole personality has softened. I'm not as, how would you say, I'm not as opinionated or stubborn about what I know as being what I know,
Mhm.
and allowing others' opinions to come into my awareness, and I'm willing to look and accept those.
Mm.
And make decisions whether or not that's my truth or it's my choice, it's my free will. But I want to explore this thing with my soul more. I want to figure out if that is the best route or path for me to take, because I've always thought that my path was just Reiki. But now I'm feeling that it's way beyond that. And I just wanted to know if I'm really not just finding something as a diversion, or if that's really becoming my passion.
Thank you so much for sharing this with us and with the group. The ego mind is a very smug little thing. Oh, it delights in understanding, in its street smarts, in understanding how to drive a car and pay taxes, and how all things work, and all of the education that you've received in your life. The ego mind wants to feel like it understands and knows everything. And so when you attempt to share these things that challenge the ego, that say there is so much more, that the ego is not a product of a physical brain, but it is, in fact, the physical brain that is being projected by the soul. The physical body is a projection of consciousness. That challenges the ego. And you have found a beautiful way to help the ego to see, quite literally, and not be threatened, but to take a part in understanding your true nature. And you want to share this with others, but it is going to bump up against their egos because they like to feel that they have everything figured out, that the physical world, this beautiful place that you live in, this is all it is. And when you show them that there is more behind this curtain, it can really challenge the ego. Beloved, we would say you are definitely on the beginning of an exciting path. This is not just a diversion, but you have an opportunity when you are doing out of body work to access your ethereal power in a way that you have the best of both worlds. You are able to work as an embodied being. You carry an enormous amount of energy in your embodiment, because it is the manifestation of your physical of your consciousness. It's a physical manifestation of consciousness. So it carries power just in its existence. It is a density, so dense that it has physical form, but that is power. So you have access to your physical power, but you also have access and the ability to move within the ethereal realm without having to make the transition from physical back to ethereal. You can walk both sides of the line. There is enormous potential for work that you can do within yourself, but also for others who are willing participants, that you can assist them from a higher perspective than you could if you were simply operating from the physical. So this is the beginning of an exciting, exciting journey for you.
Yeah.
And we would only counsel to keep going and to have fun and explore, because the world you are stepping into is definitely a powerful one. So enter with respect, but also enter with joy. For this is an exciting, joyful moment of discovery for you.
And
Thank
it is
you.
twofold, beloved. You are being called and you have asked a prayer for this to happen. So the two have now converged to where your calling is to step up and to become that which is that being. You are being Christed. This is the Christing process for you to know yourself incarnate and yet also as the incarnate soul light being, the avatar that can travel universes, and you can be called home, much like Yeshua and our brethren and sisters that lived that path as well.
Mhm.
And there have been many, many others. So only they knew how to manage this energy field of the traveling, the soul traveling, astral traveling, as it is referred to more commonly. But this is something that is a great gift that many humans are preparing themselves. And regarding you sharing that with them, your Reiki teaching and all that has gone before you has given you ample platform for you to begin to reach out and apply this to your existing students and those that choose to work with you. So this is a great entryway for you into your next level of teaching, which will, more than the Reiki, beloved, become your legacy.
Well, thank you.
Yes, you've been called,
I,
but
I
you have also asked for this to occur.
yes, I have, and I have felt that, and then it's just my ego mind or whatever. I felt that deep in my heart and connected to my soul.
And ask that the beings, the powers that be, your soul, your God I am, your Christ itself, show you the way. You do not carry this alone. You do not carry this of your own egoic mind to say, I have to figure this out. You do not have to figure it out. You simply experience it. You ask them to guide and show you the way, and then that becomes, beloved, what it is that you can then impart to others and the world as you know it. This is how a book gets written. This is how a message gets conveyed. It is going to be thought of in more esteem if you do it from your own experience rather than the concepts that you try to understand.
Definitely.
All right.
Thank
Must
you.
be such a joy to share this journey with you. Stay in these containers of people that can support and love you and encourage you when you feel downtrodden. All right.
Yeah, that's my connection.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
All right, we have time for one more question. Gina, did I see your hand up? No, it's all right. Good to see you here. Thank you for sharing in this space with us. And Monica, go ahead. I see your hand is up as well.
Hi, thank you. Well, excited to be here. This has
Good.
been a profound change with you, ma'am, and Divine Life Connections. Metatron had come in a few days ago, and he was integrating something. I would like to ask if it was possible that I can, if I'm still having that integration in my soul. Well, of course, Divine, I'm not sure what it was, but what he did something, and I want to know if he's going to continue. Is that going to open up? Any advice on that, please? I think it was so beautiful. I was feeling so high vibration. It was incredible, so incredible. I get to feel energy of Metatron, so I'm honored.
So he is one of your guides, yes? Are you working with Metatron to ask for this expansion and to sit with the energy that is the Metatron? And that will be
Yes, I always continue.
for this is right now your path of learning, your path of evolution. And again, as we've been speaking, this entire session here is about the integration of the soul, the expansion of the soul, the journey of that awakening soul, to know yourself more as the spiritual being, to live in accordance and in alignment with that as your spiritual self, moreover than your human incarnate self, to bring that into the body, to be the vehicle, the vessel that carries the imprints and the energies of these non-physical realms, these multidimensional realms. That is our job here, is to work within the confines of bringing that forth through us so that we can then begin to seed the world and bring more lightness and joy and aspects of the spirit world to your dense incarnate world here. And as you work with these spirit guides, they will show you the way. They will give you lessons and understandings and periods of growth and practice, specific instructions on how you can evolve your soul. So we encourage you to continue to work with Metatron as your soul guide, right?
One more thing on that, is Metatron right next to God?
Metatron is the scribe of God. He is that through all things the earth has been created through sacred geometry. That all creation, not just earth, but all is created through the sacred geometry of that which is Metatron.
Which is one of
Everyone is close to God, though, beloved. It is not a position of hierarchy or authority. It is everyone is part of that God, and Metatron sits in that location, as does Mother Sophia, as does the Christed ones, as does the galactic ones. They all share in this lineage of being messengers for that which is God.
you. one thing on that. He is Metatron, where he is the guide of all the galactic as well. Like
No,
all the galactic.
Metatron is an archangel, beloved.
Yes.
So the Metatron, the existence
Real.
it's not incarnate. If you even make the determination that Metatron is a he, it is you know, a non-gender issue. So it is an angelic spirit being that lives in the ethereal realm. All right.
Beautiful. Thank you.
We would like to add this word of counsel for you and for everyone, really, which is we have seen, not that there are any in this group, but we have seen the seekers, spiritual seekers who have an experience and they feel so wonderful and so energized by that experience, as you did, beloved. But they become consumed with finding more and more. This may be someone who goes to a different Reiki healer every week, or is constantly seeking new messages, and it is because they are chasing this spiritual high. It is a wonderful mountaintop experience, but we would counsel that all energy is meant to be in flow. So as you take in this beautiful, high vibrational energy, these lessons, this knowledge, as you feel yourself expanding and evolving, also keep track of how this energy is moving through you, how it flows from you as well as into you. You have the ability to direct where this energy flows next. That may be in specific actions that you take. It may be in simply directing your conscious concern or your focus to another part of the world, or to another individual, or to an area that you wish to develop. But you are the masters of this energy. It is being given to you for your ascension, for your evolution, for your enrichment, but you also get to control and decide, have the authority to direct that flow of energy as it flows through your being. And you can portion it where you see fit. If you are truly seeking more of these experiences, the best way to continue to find those mountaintops is to continue to give that energy away. The more you give it away, the more you open yourself to receive.
So be it. Thank you.
Thank you. So beautiful.
Thank you for
To the ocean.
Thank you for the question.
Thank-
All right, beloveds, we have come to the end of our time frame. We're going to go ahead and relinquish and return ourselves to present moment awareness, and just stay on so we can acknowledge Daniel and give him our kudos, and to give him all our expressions of appreciation. Yes?
It was our privilege to share this moment with all of you. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for creating this space and inviting us in to share this space with you, beloveds. We are with you always.
Indeed. What an honor. What an honor to work within these realms. And all of you have that capability and that reality in your life. Namaste.
Thank you, Daniel, so much. Thank you very much, Connie.
Likewise. Daniel and Connie, thank you so much for everything.
Yes, thank you for everyone holding space.
Yes, thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for the opportunity. As I have to echo what Seth said, it really is a privilege, and thank you, Connie, for inviting me in as your guest to help with this Q&A tonight. It was delightful. I loved all the questions. I can't wait to listen to the recording, because there's so much I want to go back and revisit. So thank you all for the wonderful energy that you brought to this, as well as the group. I was actually waking up this morning when I'm in that semi-conscious state. That's when I feel most receptive to messages and learning. And as I was waking up this morning, I felt the energy of the group connecting in. And it wasn't going to be, for the whole day. I had to wait to get to this moment, but I already felt all of you connecting, and it was so beautiful. So thank you for that. It's really made my entire day just a joy.
Yeah, I get it. And that's what we do as channels is we often set sort of like what, we cast out, an intention of what the group needs. And then I'm inspired throughout the day of seeing, hearing, feeling you. And it was such a deep desire. I knew it was going to be elevated questions tonight. Not we tend to sometimes have these events and they're very personal, dealing with circumstances and experiences. And I knew the desire was bigger. I had that understanding even before coming here. So that to me was, oh, goody, goody. It had that feeling that we were all going to be just a little bit more expanded in our desire and our leaning into what's possible for us in this container and as we grow in our consciousness. So I just thank you all so much. Deborah, you wanted to say something? I saw you. So good to see you.
Yes, I did. I wanted to ask, will you be sent, you recorded this, right?
And I posted on our YouTube channel. So I posted on our YouTube channel.
Okay.
So I will send out an email with that link.
Hmm.
And you can certainly refer to it there.
Okay, great, great. Because I would really like to send it on to someone I know who would like to join the next time in February.
Great, right? We
Very
do
much. This is wonderful.
Thank
Daniel, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Connie, thank you so much.
Right, we do these once a month, the last Monday. We've moved the time up to accommodate more of our East Coast veterans because I know it gets pretty late, and I know for me, 8 to 9:30 gets pretty late. 9 is my bedtime, so it's great to be here with all of you, and we look forward to February. I think it's a leap year. In fact, I know it's a leap year, so I'm not sure exactly what the date is, but everybody gets that extra day, so enjoy it and spend it wisely. Maybe give that day to your soul. Give that day to your soul and ask to be soul directed, soul inspired, soul guided. And I know everything will work out in your lives. So good to see.
Give it to your inner child for
Give
the
it to
day.
your inner
Yes.
child, which is part of that soul family. Yay, Laura Joy. Thank you for bringing inner child in. I love my inner child. In fact, she is a little gift that she sits here and she hangs out with me every day. My little
Oh,
inner
beautiful.
child.
Beautiful.
And I love on her all the time. So I encourage each and every one of you to get a picture and make it big and then just love on that aspect of you. Because that's the wounded one. That's the one
Yes.
that often feels the trauma. And she's the one that just wants to be loved and be loved.
Mhm. Agreed.
All right. Namaste. Good night, everybody.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you.